Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Contra action figures from NECA Toys. That's right, the long-awaited addition to NECA's video game series, Lance and Bill from the hit NES video game Contra, are finally here to hit our collections, so let's check them out. As you can see, NECA continues on with the amazing boxes for their video game series. This looks just like the retro NES Contra video game. Has that same silver box look with that amazing artwork of Lance and Bill and the crazy alien creature in the background right there on the front of the packaging. There's even some fun little stuff on there like the old Nintendo seal of quality, which has been changed to a NECA logo. And when you rotate this around to the back side of the box, it even looks like the old video game box again, but instead of having screenshots of the video game, we have some shots of the included action figures. Now again, just like all of those other video game boxes NECA has given us, there's a nice Velcro flap on the front, and when you open it up, we've got a nice window box that fully showcases both of our action figures within. Now this box is actually about the same size as all of the other boxes we've seen in the video game line. NECA was able to cram both of these figures into the same box. You can see it's even got the little life bars up there above the figures in the window, and on the left-hand side of that flap there, we've even got the start screen from the video game. And after you pull the figures out of that box, you can get a better look at the background there, which is a scene straight out of the NES video game. So that packaging is great and all, but let's go ahead and open these guys out of that packaging and take a closer look at the action figures. Now, just like all of the other figures that typically come from NECA Toys, these stand right at 7 inches tall. And you can see that the bodies are the same between the two, with a few differences like the gloves here. But they do have these great brand new head sculpts as well, and they continue the trend of having really wacky paint deco that makes them look like the 8-bit NES sprites. So let's go ahead and take a closer look here, just so you guys can see what's going on with the great paint deco. And even though it's got that crazy sprite look to it, the sculpting is really well done here. What's so great about this is all of the video game figures we've seen in this line pretty much so far have all been based on previous NECA figures that have been given a video game paint job. That trend was broken with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Ninja Turtles arcade figures and continued with the Contra figures here, who are our first action figures that are just straight out of a video game. These guys are video game characters brought to life in action figure form. That is fantastic for this line. Great head sculpt there, and you can see that crazy paint deco that's across the face goes all the way down the body of the figure there. That gives it a weird shaded effect, and of course the blocky pixelation of the camo seen on the red pants here. A lot of other great details as well. You'll notice that he does have holsters hanging from the belt. He's got a revolver on the right side. He's got a knife on the left side. And of course, he's got the little strap of bullets going across his chest there. Bringing in Lance, you can see that we've got the same kind of thing going on, but he's got a different paint head sculpt here, of course. He's got that longer black hair, the nice blue bandana going across his face. Again, really great sculpt there. That's got that same crazy paint deco, and it's seen all the way down the figure. And of course, he's got the blue pants on. Overall, just a really, really great look for these figures. They've got the bright red and blue pants to mimic the way the characters looked in the NES video game so that you could tell them apart from Player 1 and Player 2. I just think they're awesome. The sculpts are great. I love that. But man, I have been a big fan of that crazy paint deco all through this line, and it really does look great on both Bill and Lance here. So let's talk about articulation before we get into all of the really cool accessories. Now, like I said, same bodies here, so the articulation is the same for both figures. That head is on a nice ball joint, so it rolls all the way around. You can move it left, right, has a great range of motion there. We do also have those same kind of joints there at the shoulders, nice ball jointed shoulders, so the arms can go upwards, forwards, and backwards. We've got swivels just above the elbow, as well as an elbow bend. We've got swivels at the wrist, and they are ball jointed, so they roll all the way around there. Of course, he's got the gloved hands, where we've got no gloves over here on the Lance figure. We've got the nice ball joint at the torso, so the upper body rocks all the way around, as well as swivels at the waist. You'll also notice that the belt is a separate piece there. It's non-removable, but it does move around, so it doesn't get in the way of the articulation. That's really good, of course, for the leg articulation. You can see that the weapons holstered at the side don't hinder that movement whatsoever. We got great ball joints at the thighs, so legs can go outwards, forwards, backwards, as well as swivel. We've got really great joints at the knees, which I always love the way NECA hides the knee joints with the sculpt of the pants there. It looks so great. So great range of motion there. You can see it swivels as well as bends forwards and backwards. And then, of course, we got that great ball joint at the foot as well, which allows the ankle to rock all the way around, swivel, and even move the foot side to side for a good pivot there. So you should have a really, really great range of motion with these figures. And that's going to really come in handy for our included accessories. So let's go ahead and start with what we've got holstered here at the side, since I've already brought that up. You got a little flap here. You can see it's got a little peg on there. It's soft plastic, but you can get it to kind of snap in place just like that. And you can remove the little pistol there. Now, the right hand on both figures is what's going to be used for holding that. He does have a trigger finger, you can see. So we got the trigger finger there. I'm going to go ahead and pull our other gun out over here for Lance as well. You can put that in his hand just like that. So that way you can pose both figures with the little handguns if you want to. Not something that we typically see in the actual video game, but it's still a cool accessory nonetheless. And I love how the left hand has kind of got that open pose, similar to what we've seen on like the Dutch figures and stuff from the Predator line. In fact, the bodies are very reminiscent of what we've seen on some of the Arnold figures in this line. So you can get some really great poses using that handgun there. Now, of course, in addition, we've also got that little knife that I showed you guys. They're very cool. They got different painted handles, so you can see we got a red handle on this one. There's a blue handle over here. The only issue with the knife, it's a great looking accessory. It's got a great paint deco with a nice silvery, shiny blade, but the hand sculpts are way too loose to grip onto it. You can see that? He does not hold on to that knife very good. You can kind of rest it on his fingers and get him to hold on to it, so that way you can pose him with it if you want to, but he really doesn't have a good gripping hand for that. That accessory is definitely best just sheathed right there at his side, and is more for looks than it is for him to actually use it. That's a bit of a bummer, but you know what? It's okay, because I think you guys are probably going to want to use the larger guns for these guys when you're posing on your shelf anyway, because they're a little bit more game accurate and they're a lot cooler. So let's get to that stuff. First of all, this is a really fun extra accessory. You guys recognize this, right? Yeah, this is the weird little football-shaped weapon container that's always bouncing across the screen in the NES game. You shot this, and this is how you got your weapon enhancements. It's a really, really nicely sculpted little piece. You can see great sculpt there, great paint deco, looks just like the item in the game, and it does come with this cool little clear stand that's got a little peg. You can just pop it on the hole in the bottom there, and you can stand it on your shelf. So that is just a really, really fun little added bonus. Alright, so now let's get into the guns, the larger guns. This is what's kind of neat about these, and let me show you guys what's really fun about these guns. First of all, the sculpts are great on these. They got a great paint deco as well. You can see they are nicely detailed, really, really look great. But you know what's fun about this is the base part of the gun is exactly the same on both. They have some really cool customization. You can actually pop the front off and the back. We've got one little back piece that you can put on either of the guns. It basically can just clip right on the back like that. It holds nice and solid, and you can do that with either. So if you want to pop it off of here, you can place it on the back of this gun just like that. And the front of both guns is removable as well. Really, this is just so that you can swap the pieces between the figures very easily. You can customize the guns however you want to. You'll notice that the front of the gun is shaped different on both of them, and they actually have different peg holes on the front. Those peg holes are for the included blast attachments, which is what I'm going to show you next. But I thought it was really cool that you have the option to kind of customize these guns and, you know, position them however you want to. I thought that was a really, really neat feature. So let's go ahead and get these in the character's hands. And again, they'll hold it with the right hand. That's got the trigger finger. You can kind of bend the finger up over the trigger there if you want to. The two-handed pose, of course, works really great with these guys, especially if we're going to use these added little blast accessories here. So let's start with the single shot blast. That's going to work great for the longer nozzle on the front of the gun here. you've got 3 of these great little blast effects. You can see they've got clear rods and then a cool like little fireball looking thing that looks like one single shot. So this plugs very nicely into the front of the gun, just like that. And you can see it holds very well. It's nice and straight, and that way you can make it look like he's firing a blast out of the gun. But what's really great about that, I mentioned that we've got 3 of those, and each of them have a little peg hole at the front. That's because you can stack these. So you can actually stack 2 or 3 of them together, and you can make it look like he is blasting in rapid succession, just like you would do in the video game. I thought that was a really, really cool effect. Look at that. How cool is that? And I'm actually really impressed at how straight it's staying. It's not bending. Now, I imagine over time on your shelf, it might kind of, buckle to gravity and it might bend down a little bit. But for the most part, right now, it's straight and it looks really, really cool. Now, for our other gun, we've got an even cooler effect. One of everybody's favorite weapon upgrades in the game is, of course, the spread shot. The spread shot's amazing. Everybody loves getting it. You never want to lose it when you get it. So you can add the spread shot effect to this gun. You can see we got this great little burst up here at the front. It's got 2 pegs on the back of it. That actually plugs right into the front of this gun. It's a nice firm lock there. So you just press that in there. And now it looks like he's got the spread shot blasting out of the front of the gun. How cool is that? But it gets even better. We've got this added piece right here. Look at this. That really makes it look like the spread shot is blasting off. Now, here's the trick with this. This is a standalone piece that's meant to kind of stand in front of the shot. It's on this kind of light, almost flexible, kind of clear plastic stand that you can see here. But what you need to do is actually pull the base off of our little weapon container. It only has one of these bases, unfortunately. So you have to decide which one of these you want to display. It actually just do a little twist. You can pop it off the bottom of that, and in its place, we can pop this on here. You just got to kind of line it up like this. You give it a nice twist, and there we go. Now we can stand it on the ground. You line it up with your spread shot with your figure, and your figure is now doing the spread shot attack, and it looks really, really cool. I guess the only downside is that you have to remove the base from the little weapon container so that you can't display all these at the same time. Now, this one here does kind of balance a little bit by itself. You can see I'm standing it even though it doesn't have the larger base. So I guess it is manageable. But I guess that's really my only downside. I kind of wish it came with 2 of those little bases, but otherwise, this is just a really, really cool effect. And look, you get them both lined up here. You can make it look like they're running through the level, recreate different scenes from the game, or even recreate that iconic box art. And these are really, really fun action figures. Seriously, I have been so excited for NECA's line of Contra figures. I am so glad that they're finally here, and I couldn't be happier with them. They have great sculpts, they're nice and sturdy, the articulation functions beautifully, and they come with amazing accessories. Seriously, these Contra figures and those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade figures have seriously taken NECA's video game lineup to a whole new level. And yeah, pun is totally intended there. These are amazing, and I cannot wait to see what NECA has up their sleeves next for the video game lineup, because I am still loving it. Very special thanks to NECA Toys for sending these guys along so we can get a good look at them outside of the packaging. But guys, good news, these are shipping right now. So happy hunting, my friends. And hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, why not hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on one of my reviews. Until next time, my friends.